Hey guys! So today I'm going to film for you my foundation routine. Now the foundations and the blushes and the bronzers, they do tend to change like throughout the week depending on what my mood is. But for the most part, this is pretty much my current routine. This is what I use on a very regular basis. I used a lot of my most used and favorite products, so stay tuned if you want to see how I do my face. So I'm going to start off by priming my face with my Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm in Sensitive. This stuff has glycerin in it, which, I mean, that's like the main reason why this works, but it is amazing. It helps your makeup stay put all day, and I love this stuff. And it doesn't smell half bad. I mean, it does smell like a man, but I mean, you don't smell like a man like after. You just smell it like while you're rubbing it into your face. So I'm going to be using my Maybelline Matte and Poreless in the shade 120 to do my face today. And I'm going to be using my Real Technique sponge to do so. So I just put a little bit on the back of my hand, get a little teeny bit on the sponge, and just start patting it into my face. It doesn't have to be cakey. We still want to be able to see our natural skin through the foundation. You just want to even out the skin tone. And bring it down the neck. Now we have a flawless, even complexion for the most part. Alright, so the next thing that I like to do is I do my concealer. And I'm going to be using my Sephora Bright Future Gel Serum Concealer today because I am obsessed with this stuff. Its applicator is a little bit funny. It likes you to dot it on, but I find if you just kind of turn it on its side, you can kind of blend it down. Isn't that pretty? And for the most part, we are just brightening up the center of the face and covering up any dark circles. So I put it heaviest where I have my dark circles. This doesn't have to be perfect. And then I want to blend that out real quick. This stuff does set down pretty quickly, so blend. Don't like walk away and be like, oh, I'll blend it in a minute. I've done that, and it's a pain in the butt to blend if you do that. Alright. And just because I have a little face demon chilling right here, I'm going to use my Maybelline Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. And I'm just going to put that on my forehead because it's kind of in my highlight zone anyway, so I'm just going to cover it up like that. And I'll just use my sponge to just kind of pat that in and blend it out. So now that we have all of that on, we want to set our concealer. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. And I'm just going to take the pointy end of my sponge and just kind of get a good amount of powder on there. And I'm going to pat that under my eyes. I know it looks really weird, but eventually we are going to go and dust all that away. And it'll work really nicely. I like doing this method just because it prevents my concealer from creasing as badly throughout the day. So basically a good dusting there. You don't need to use like tons and tons and tons of powder. With this, it's really difficult. If you use like a loose setting powder like the NYC one, you can really just like slap it on there, but I don't really feel like doing that today. So now that that is like baking and it's setting, whatever we want to say that's doing, I am going to go through and contour. So this is my next step. I'm going to use my Cocoa Contour from Too Faced because this is my favorite and it's my go-to. It's my everyday. I'm going to be using medium cocoa and my little e.l.f. brush, this weird little shape brush. And I'm just going to like dip, like just tap the corner in. And then I'll just put that where I want the contour to start and kind of brush it down into my contour area. And then I use the entire brush to just kind of blend it out, if that makes sense. And I get more as needed. This is definitely something I like to just build up until I get it where I want it. If you just slap it on there, it's really hard to like blend. Isn't that contour face cute? But it helps you find that line. So I just buff that in right under the cheekbone and blend it upward. I like to do this method because I think it looks more natural. So then I will take that same contour color and I will put that around the perimeter of my face. If you have a small forehead, you do not need to do the top of your forehead. And if you have a really small forehead, you do not need to do even the sides. But I have a very large forehead, so I contour my forehead. Now, if your foundation really washes you out, this is a good way to like warm it up. Like if you can't get to the store right away to get a new shade because the one that you have is too light or, you know, whatnot, it's really easy to fake a too light foundation and warm up your face than it is to do a darker one, although you could just add more lighter concealer and highlight the face. So basically I'm just kind of chiseling out all the areas that I want to add a little bit of a shadow to and put the natural shadows back in my face so I don't look so pale. This is why I like this brush. I can seriously just put a teeny tiny bit on the edge and just run it down my nose and blend it out. And it doesn't get too crazy or anything like that. Like, this brush is just awesome for contouring. So now that I'm all nice and contoured, I'm going to take the little brush that comes in this palette and just dip it into the light cocoa. And I'm going to sweep away all that extra e.l.f. powder and use the light cocoa to just brighten up that area even more. You don't have to do it this way, you can just sweep it away, but I like to have that extra bit of light under there, so that's why I do it that way. Add a little bit to the chin, set that concealer on the forehead and down the nose, all with the light cocoa. Anywhere you want light, you want to set with the lighter powder. So now that the contouring is done, as you can see, I don't go totally ham crazy on it. I am going to be using my blush, and this is going to be the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This was also mentioned in my favorite face products of the year, so that way I'm trying to use the products so you can see like how I use them and why. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take my Real Techniques blush brush and I'm just going to tap it in there a couple of times and then apply it kind of to the apples of my cheeks and back. Now what you want to do with your blush is you want to put like 2 fingers next to your nose and you want to start blushing next to it. This is going to draw the face up and back and not draw the face in and like, it's basically like giving yourself a mini facelift. It tricks the eye into seeing those angles that, you know, are the ideal type angles. Or so they say. But as a trick I like to use, it just kind of gets the blush in the perfect spot and you can just blend it out. And I like to blend it into my contour so I don't have any crazy sharp lines. And I just use a little bit at a time, blend it, use a little bit more, blend it, just build up that color to my desired amount of color, which today apparently is a decent amount. But I just kind of flick at it and it really blends in that color and just blend it back. So that is how I like to apply my blush. And then I will go in with a highlight. I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Fergie collection, and this is in Hollywood Boulevard. This is one that I talked about in my favorites, and I mean, it's one of my favorites. I just hate the way it looks in the pan. So I'm going to be using this Vasanti brush that I got in my BoxyCharm. This is my highlight brush. I love using this for highlight. But I can just dip it in there real gently, pat it kind of at the top of my cheekbone, and then just kind of swirl it around so I don't get like that completely sharp line, but I get the nice highlight. But I'm using this brush very, very gently and just building up that highlight the way that I want it. Sometimes I go ham and just like slap it on there and I get this like really harsh highlight, but you know, sometimes you just want to be seen from space, so. So there's the highlight. And that's pretty much my face routine. That's my base. This is what this is everything but the eyes and the lips. You know, that's how I do things. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Hey guys! Really? Never fails, like as soon as you start filming, then, you know, the garbage truck decides to roll by. Whatever. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm struggling this morning. I'm struggling. Okay, so, is my lighting off? I don't think so. Hey guys! What was that? Oh, jeez. I'm having problems. So, now that a face is primed, I'm going to be using my Maybelline... Really, Olive? How do you like my lighting? Isn't it cool? Mornings aren't my thing. I need my coffee. So basically, anywhere